Again, if you missed it, the Lions signed right guard Kevin Zeitler to a one-year contract extension. And I got to ask our Detroit Lions credentialed beat writer and reporter, is this guy a Brad Holmes guy, a Dan Campbell guy?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. I'm going to pass it right back over to you guys. But for all of you who don't know much about Kevin Zeitler, I'm not gonna share much, but I want to show you a quick 6-second video to prove is he a Dan Campbell guy? Is he a football guy? JB, if you could run that video, that would be fantastic. This is Kevin Zeitler. His wife is giving labor, and he's in the hospital room working on his pass protection in the offseason without a contract. This is Kevin Zeitler, the most recent Lions signing, while his wife is getting labor, working on his footwork, working on his pass pro. That's a football guy, right?
That's a football guy. And, you know, we talked about finding those intangibles that kind of show that these players, whether through the draft or through free agency, are those kind of Brad Holmes guys, those Dan Campbell guys. And Kevin is definitely one. And you want to talk about losing Jonah Jackson and all of the mock drafts around trying to figure out which offensive linemen are they going to select in this draft to be able to kind of, you know what, let's try and get younger. But this move to me, even if they go into the draft and they still select, which I happen to believe they will, somebody for the offensive line, this move to me solidifies the thought process that they're trying to maximize their Super Bowl window with Mr. Pro Bowler right guard Kevin Zeitler. Man, you're still cheesing. What's up, Flannel?
No, it's a phenomenal signing, and I have to give one of our chat members, Big Dan Davis, the credit on this one because he says it even better than I could. The Lions' O-line just got better than it already was. I agree with that. Kevin Zeitler is an upgrade over Jonah Jackson. He's one of the top guards in pass protection. Hell yeah, I love this move. And is it a coincidence that even when his wife is in labor, he's practicing his pass blocking moves? Is it a coincidence that he's one of the best pass blocking guards in the NFL? I think not, because you're always working at your craft if you're going to be great at something, and Kevin Zeitler most certainly is. And to me, yeah, he's an upgrade over Jonah Jackson. I think going into this season, the Detroit Lions, we already know this, but I think they have the undisputed best offensive line in the NFL. I know going into last year there was some talk about Philly, but this year it is most certainly the Detroit Lions because, as Big Dan Davis said, and as I agree with, Kevin Zeitler's an upgrade over Jonah Jackson, particularly in pass blocking. And you know, like I always do, I have to read off some numbers that are very complimentary to Kevin Zeitler.
You know what? I saw the numbers. I was like, yes. I know Flannel got this covered.
Absolutely. Kevin Zeitler was second last year amongst all guards in pass blocking grade, according to PFF. When on 574 pass blocking snaps, he only allowed 19 pressures, 2 sacks, and 1 hit. And even more impressive than that, Kevin Zeitler had really one rough game last year. It was a home game against the Indianapolis Colts, a game that the Baltimore Ravens lost. It was week 3. He allowed his only 2 sacks of the season in that game. From week 4 on, he had 12 straight games with a PFF pass blocking grade of over 70 in every single game. That's remarkable consistency, and allowed 0 sacks. I know PFF isn't everything, but I think that it told a story of how valuable Kevin Zeitler was last year. And was it a coincidence that Lamar Jackson was the NFL MVP last year with Kevin Zeitler being one of his best pass blockers or his pass blocking guard? I think not. And the thing that I'm excited about when it comes to Zeitler, because he is a much better pass blocker than Jonah Jackson. What is one of the most important things about this Lions offense that really makes it go, that really makes it its peak level of explosiveness? Jared Goff having time to throw.
Facts.
He's going to be able to do his taxes, take a nap, maybe like call Kristen Harper, and then be like,
Fitness.
Go to Planet Fitness, and then be like, oh, there's Amon-Ra wide open. That's what Kevin Zeitler is gonna provide you. And as you said before, he is a veteran. He is going into year 13, although he did make his first Pro Bowl last year. You could still draft an offensive lineman anywhere you wanted in the draft and have him learn or sit, or even a guy like Colby Sorsdahl, who had some rough moments last year, but he was a rookie 5th-round draft pick. I love this signing. I think this is, like you said, Kool-Aid, they're maximizing their Super Bowl window by somehow, some way, making their offensive line even better than it was last year. And last year they had the best offensive line in the NFL. A+ signing Brad Holmes.
Man, because look, I gotta ask Broder this question as well, but it's like you said it right, man. We've been sitting up here saying, yo, is there a way to take this offensive line from elite to even better? And Brad Holmes found a way, man. The guy is absolutely cooking, absolutely cooking. And he's been playing this thing to a T. Broder talked about it before we went live as well, that now the Lions are in a position to do exactly what Brad Holmes said they would do. They would fill their needs in free agency, and then they would go to the draft with the ability to be able to just draft the best players that they see fit, irregardless of need.
The marshmallow test.
Talk to me about this, man.
The marshmallow test. And by the way, Flannel, I value PFF the most, especially around offensive linemen, where they see some of the little things when they're in pass pro, when they're in run blocking schemes. They break that down. So I'm actually really glad that you had that stuff ready. But Kevin Zeitler, like you said, Kool-Aid, this doesn't affect how Brad Holmes can act and operate moving forward at all. He's as flexible as ever. He still has options everywhere. Now it's about adding depth. Now it's about adding pieces. You have someone fall to you in the draft. You can upgrade at a position. You can draft the best position available. It's an incredible signing. He's 34 years old, 6'4", 315 pounds, but 34 years old. That might be a question mark or a concern for somebody, but he really hasn't had injury issues his whole career. He had some nagging ones last year. That was his first season. Also his first season, he made the Pro Bowl, but he's been a model of consistency. I believe he started 181 out of 182 career games. So him coming in on a one-year contract to fit right in, likely at right guard, then moving Graham Glasgow over to the left side, it not only gives you that starter from day one in this one-year contract, but it also allows you to still draft an offensive lineman at 29 or at 61 or at 73 and have him learn from Zeitler. Like you said, Colby Sorsdale, Yodi, they can learn from Zeitler. It's a veteran who's played with many different offensive linemen, so he's going to be able to fit in Detroit, fit in this culture with Hank Fraley and this offensive line, which, like you said, top 2 in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year they were number 1.
I think top 2 is selling them even short.
You
But
might be, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I just want to read something that Corey Berry said, which really like drives home another point that we've all kind of touched on briefly. Zeitler missed 5 starts in the last 9 seasons. Jonah missed 9 in the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
And that's always been the thing with Jonah Jackson, at least in the last couple of years. He hasn't been healthy. I mean, that doesn't even include the fact that he missed the NFC Championship game at San Francisco. And as I said before, Kevin Zeitler, at least right now, is a better offensive lineman. And think about this, guys. I got some more numbers that are really going to make
Flannel.
you happy when it comes to what this does to the offensive line. The Detroit Lions, with the signing of Kevin Zeitler, and this is based off of their performance last year, have 2 of the top 15 ranked PFF guards, the number 1 ranked center, Frank Ragnow obviously, 2 top 10 rated tackles, with Penei Sewell being number 1. That to me sounds like a Pro Bowl offense, like just a Pro Bowl team of offensive linemen. That's basically borderline what you got.
Like those 04 Pistons when just about all of them went to the All-Star game that year.
Yeah,
We're going to be seeing at least 4 in the Pro Bowl at the end of the 2024 season.